Thank you guys for being here. Excited to recap the win from Saturday. Appreciate y'all's coverage of our program, and good to see you. And really excited to celebrate the win with our fans on Saturday. The Sun Bowl was rocking. It was a great atmosphere. Want to thank our fans from the bottom of our heart for staying the course. It's 30. I think the attendance was about 31,000. Just unbelievable, just unbelievable, and in the midst of a lightning delay for the fans to stay, it just shows, Minor Nation. It shows what they're about. It shows how much they want to see this program succeed, and as I've told you guys, we carry that, win, lose, or draw. We carry that with a lot of pride. Our kids know how important it is for us to play, well at all times, but especially well in the Sun Bowl. And represent the orange and blue in the way that it deserves to be represented. And I was very proud of our players after looking at the tape. Had extraordinary effort at times. Had really good effort all the way around. Kids played hard. I'm so proud of them. I'm proud of the focus. We played really physical. That was evident off the tape. I knew on the field, but on the tape we played extremely physical. A lot of knock 'em back tackles on defense. A lot of physical blocks inside, and even receivers on the perimeter. You can tell, our guys were in tune and got after it, and created a lot of explosive plays. Certainly a lot of things to clean up. We got a lot of things to get better at, especially as we move forward, and it's about this team getting better every single week. And so that doesn't stop depending on our opponent. So we're not satisfied with one victory. We got to keep working to build this program and what we want it to be. So I think, if anything, it created a hunger in this organization to see, when all the pieces come together, what it can look like. And I thought that was the first time that had happened since we've been here. But by far the hardest game we played, the most physical game we played, and the most complete game we've played since we've been here at UTEP. And it was good to see this week with a great opponent, and that preparation, has already started, and our kids are ready and excited for the challenge. And so with that, I'll open for questions.
I guess, so what's a scout report on Texas? I guess they're pretty good.
I don't know where you want to start, Brett. We'll be here all day, how good they are. Start with the quarterback. Everybody talks about, I think it's just funny to, as coaches, it's almost comical, how some people portray, they're not as good, or he's not as good as we thought, or, these guys are a really good football team. I've seen the media about, they need Arch to play better. Brother, all he did was throw 4 touchdowns last Saturday in an FBS college football game, and he dang near beat Ohio State in his first start. Who's arguably the best team in the country. He's poised in the pocket. He's an elusive. I think people need to understand he's a very, and some people talk about it, but he's an underrated runner, man. He is athletic, and he's big, he's physical. He can make all the throws. If he's on the left hash and, to the field, he's got a gimme throw. He can catch that ball and make that throw seamlessly. He's got elite weapons around him. The Livingstone kid went off against San Jose State. I think he's super explosive. Their running backs are big, physical. They play downhill, but their offensive line deserves a ton of praise. They're massive human beings. They move really well. Defensively, the Simmons kid is one of the best pass rushers in the country. And I really think 16, the safety, I believe it's Taff. I don't want to butcher his name, but I believe it's Taff. Make sure I got it right. Michael Taff. He's like the quarterback of the defense, man. That guy is just everywhere. He gets them lined up. He's literally the quarterback of the defense, and they play extremely physical. So, certainly have a ton of respect for Coach Sarkisian and what he's doing there at Texas, and they got a great football team.
What's kind of the message you're relaying to your squad as you guys are gearing up to play one of the best teams in the entire nation?
Yeah, number one, it's for us to get better. Like the mistakes that we saw on Saturday, towards the end of the game where, we didn't have the right amount of people out there on punt. We didn't execute on special teams at the end of the game, block kicks. We're focused on cleaning that up, because this is about the Miners, man. This ain't about nothing else. It's about UTEP getting better. We are nowhere near a finished product. And as I said this after our week 1 game, it's truly, Sam, about us every week getting better. And that's what we got to focus on. So we've looked at those mistakes. We've addressed them head on. Our kids have done a phenomenal job responding to that. I had a really physical practice out there today, this morning. Wasn't the cleanest one, but you know what? I love this team because, man, they come to work. They come ready to work. And, it was a really physical practice and intentional with cleaning those things up. And that's what we got to do is we got to focus on that. And go in and play and cut it loose. We have the pressure's on them. It ain't on us, man. Like, let's go in there, let's cut it loose, let's play our brand of football, and we need to see on tape us be better in the areas we struggled in against UT Martin and keep getting better, because that's going to propel us as we get close to ending our non-conference stretch and getting into the most critical part of our season, which is conference play.
A lot of parallels between both Malachi and Arch. And where they came from as top recruits in 2023. What parallels do you draw in that both of them are just making their third start collegiately, and they're both kind of young in their development?
That's kind of cool. They both came out in the same class, as you mentioned, and I think both of them have elite arm talent. Each of them see the field really well, just from my 2 games with Malachi and watching Arch on tape. I think it's kind of a really cool story when 2 guys come out of high school together as some of the top-ranked guys, and they clash in college. I think that's really cool. But like I said, I think Arch, very, very for only going to be his 3rd game starting, but is watching him in 2 starts, like he's got a calmness about him, kind of like I've described with Malachi, that like he doesn't get rattled or antsy in the pocket. He's very calm, cool, collected. And so I think there's kind of a parallel with those 2 guys in terms of that. And they both have elite arm talent, and then I just think both those guys are going to keep getting better as the season goes on.
When you try and prepare a team and your team to go into an environment like Texas, where it's going to be 100,000 people screaming their heads off all game long, how important is that communication to make sure that you guys are able to actually execute the simple things?
You hit the nail on the head, man. We got 2 little speakers out there at Glory Field today. Are the best we can roll out there, and we cranked them bad boys up with. I don't know what crowd noise. We picked some crowd noise on Spotify today that was. I don't know. It sounded like 2 wild banshees fighting each other or something. I don't know what that noise. I have no clue what that noise was. They say it was crowd noise on Spotify, but I thought there were 2 animals dying in the grass over there outside Glory Field. But nonetheless, you try to create that noise during specific periods of practice. Like we did a sudden change period at the end where we struggled at the end of our game because we looked at the score. We got comfortable and we said, we don't need to focus on special teams. We don't need to focus on the situation. The game's already won. As opposed to, being mature and saying, hey, I may need to dial in here because it's 3rd down. Coach might call a field goal here. Or, hey, it's 3rd down. Coach might call punt right here. I probably need to be ready. It was so good to get that experience through a win. But and then we get to carry that over and teach off that going into a hostile environment where there's going to be 100,000 people, and we put the crowd noise out there. And, we did something a little different in that sudden change period today, whereas we tried to make it more game-like, where it's like, hey, go with Coach Daly, go with Coach Kala, make corrections, right? And then all of a sudden I'm going to call up a random group to go execute, and you don't know what moment of the game it is. And our kids handled that really well today. But we talk about this all the time. We have to be, as a program, regardless if we're playing at DKR, we're playing at the Sun Bowl, just our standard in our program is to be the best communicators in the world. That's what we have to be. And communication is such a undervalued thing, I think, in life because, where communication lacks, negativity is going to fill that void. And when you and I don't have great communication, something's going to slip, and negativity is going to fill that. And so we got to be elite communicators. I've talked to our coaching staff about that. We got to be great communicators with our kids, with each other, so that we're all on the same page. Because whenever you leave something to chance, you're preparing to fail. And so you bring up a phenomenal point. That has been a key focal point, just because what transpired Saturday, but also, too, now it's going to be times 10 going into a hostile environment like DKR.
When you look at a defense like what Texas runs, they're super aggressive. How important is it to be able to establish that run game against a defense like that, and when you got an offense on the other side of the field that can lay at the scoreboard?
Yeah, we there's some things we talked about. We always have our winning edge, which are our standard formula of winning football games. But I think each specific game brings something unique to the plan to win, and the plan to win, this week especially, is like we cannot be in negative plays, and we cannot give them gimmies. We can't give them gimme shots. I mean, they're an explosive offense. They're going to run it, and then I think Steve Sarkisian is one of the best play callers in the country, and he's got some of the best players in the entire nation. And man, he's going to devise ways to try to push that ball downtown. And we got to do a great job staying on top of the cut and knowing that, okay, they run it 2 or 3 times. Okay, here comes that play action shot off of that look they're trying to set us up on, and staying on top of that cut and make them earn everything. Same thing on offense. We can't take negative plays. You look at the last game against San Jose. San Jose, like when you watch that game as a coach and you sit there and you chop through it, they had a really good plan, and they did a really good job of moving the ball, but they had 4 turnovers. One of those which, took it back to the house. The Texas defense is probably the best defense I've seen on tape of attacking the football and punching the ball out. They punched that thing violent. They are trying to force turnovers and take backs, and so we got to do a great job of not giving them those gimmies, because if you give a team like this gimmies, they're going to turn it into points really quick. So we got to play discipline, and we got to play our brand of football. Our first core principle of our offense is ball security and taking care of the ball. So we got to take care of the ball, and we got to stay on top of the cut and limit explosives on defense.
What did you notice from the run game this past weekend for your squad?
Man, we came off the ball. I think I mentioned this in week 1. I was pleased with the short yardage, and we talked about that low pad level and driving our feet in short yardage and how we needed to apply that in the open field run game, and I saw that on Saturday. If you look at the run, Hassan, if you go back and look at that 94-yard run, watch Judah Ezenwa and Mark Robinson on that play. They literally pancaked the guy over and take him back on skates and literally cave that whole side down. That becomes the side that Hassan cuts back to. And those are the little, I pointed out like that touchdown that Malachi threw to Kenny in Utah State, and how Ivan Escobar was the unsung hero of that play. Those offensive linemen and the tight ends, they're the unsung heroes of that run game. I think we averaged like 7 yards a carry or 6 or something. It was really good on Saturday, and it's solely because of the effort and the drive of our offensive linemen. James Williams played extremely physical, and our running backs ran physical. So when all that ingredients, all that came together, it equaled some successful and explosive runs. I thought that was really, really good.
I guess, what's Cam's status, and does this leave, is Emory now declared #1?
Well, yeah, we're still getting some clarity on Cam. I mean, I'll just tell you guys this. I think Cam is going to be out for an extended period of time, and we're still getting some clarity on some things. He's still a captain on this team. He's a warrior. He was leading at our pregame meal, talking to our team, and he's still that heart and soul of our team. But he's going to be out an extended period of time, and we got to look at. I can't get into all the details, of the specificity of his injury, but bottom line, I'll tell you this because I want to point it out is. Something that, an injury occurred in the first game, and it kind of opened the doctor's eyes to something else, and something else that, let me just tell you that the common player, the common person, he couldn't have pushed through it, and this kid is an absolute warrior and has done so much for this program, and so we're gonna keep getting evaluated and look at what that looks like, and we'll just keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, he'll be out for an extended period of time.
Is Emory now the #1?
I think we got 2 really good backs, man. I think we're gonna be bouncing those guys a lot. Hassan, played super explosive. Ashton Emery as well. So I feel really, really solid, Brett, about both of those guys.
UTEP plays Texas 3 straight times in every other year after this year's part of the 4-game series. Is it important to play a squad like Texas, or what kind of value do you find in that?
I find a lot of value in it. I'm a Texas guy, Adrian, from Fort Worth, and to play the University of Texas, it means a lot to me in this program, and especially our kids now that, I'd say probably 70-80% of our roster is Texas high school football players. Just to play the school in the state of Texas, you grow up and you see obviously the Aggies, the Longhorns, and and I just think that's really special for these kids, memories that they'll create a lifetime. Obviously, that's that side of it. We're going on a business trip. Our expectation is to win the game and go compete to win the game in everything we do. But at the end of the day, I think that's a really, really awesome opportunity for our kids to get to do that. I know for me, like I was coaching D3 ball, and I think it was like in 2014 maybe, at East Texas Baptist, we stopped at DK. Like we brought our kids into DKR to get the practice. And I'll never forget like looking around and being like, whoa, man, maybe one day I'll get the coach here. Like, how cool would this be? And so like it's like a surreal moment for me as well and for our coaching staff. And so what an awesome opportunity for our guys to go make history and to go out and compete against one of the best teams in the country, let alone, the standard in the state of Texas.
Just we're officially in the revenue sharing era of college athletics. I don't think it's no secret that Texas is one of the more well-funded programs. Just looking at it from a general standpoint, as someone who's leading a G5 school, in this era, I guess upsets over programs like that, do you think it's going to be a bit more difficult now than it was before, or just can you give me your take on this day and age?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll answer it like this: like as a coach, I think anyone can beat anybody any single week. And I know the outside world will be like, yeah, right, call you crazy. What are Vegas will pick whatever, but like, look, we've been in this thing long enough to understand, like, football is the most humbling game in the world. And, I had Jeff Cody, my high school basketball coach, who won 700 games in his career. He used to say this all the time. Sometimes when we were going against juggernauts, he was like, sometimes it ain't about being the better team. You just got to be better than them that day. So out of 365 days in a calendar year, we just got to be better than them on that one day. It may not mean we're the better team or we got the more talent or whatever, but what kind of approach are our kids going to have? And that's one of my challenges to our guys. I'll tell you, I threw up every G5 that's beating a P4 on Monday to the kids, and I'm like, why not us? Like Northern Illinois last year, you think they went into the game against Notre Dame and they said, yeah, hey, let's just bow down and lose this game? Like, that's never going to – I've said this since the day when I got here. Like, that is never going to be our approach. People ask me all the time, and I've never coached at the P5 level. I've always been a small school guy and working up. And, like, what's your take? You guys are playing Tennessee this week or Alabama. What's your expectation? Well, the hell, the expectation is to win. I mean, like, we're the people in the arena. Our expectation is to win the game. Our expectation is to go compete. Like, and there's nothing wrong with having that expectation. If you put us in the arena, like, we're going to go compete to freaking win. If we're playing my son's Pee Wee team or we're playing the Green Bay Packers, like, we're going to compete to win. We put checkers out there, we're going to compete to win in checkers. That ought to be the mentality of our team. And I think that's the type of team that we have. And I, like, to your point, money, obviously that stuff, hey, can buy you great players and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, that ball's going to get kicked off between those white lines, and there's going to be a football field out there. There's going to be stands. There's going to be field goal posts, and we're going to play some football. And so I think anybody can beat anybody any Saturday.
Wanted to switch to the defense real quick.
Yeah.
With Arch Manning, of course, how it was talked about as his first season starting. And so how do you plan to apply pressure to him so that the Texas offense is more one-dimensional?
Yeah, it's a really good point. The key that helps them out a lot, man, and I think it's maybe one of the more underrated parts of their offense. That offensive line is really good. Their two tackles are elite. I mean, those guys, in my opinion, are NFL guys, no question. So we have to be very, very unique in how we apply pressure. And we have to understand that when we pick and choose those spots, man, we got to be good because their receivers are 4-3, 4-4 guys that can absolutely run. So we got to do a great job of picking and choosing those spots, but also being unique with it because they do a phenomenal job in pass protection. With they did it last year too with Ewers, and they're doing a great job of it this year with Arch. But I think we got to do a great job of getting creative, with how we do that.
Just last one for me, just the NCAA Oversight Committee last week voted on the single transfer portal window in January. I don't know if you've had time to kind of. Oh yeah. I know it's game week, but
I see it.
Your thoughts as it's maybe one step closer to becoming a thing.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love it. As coaches, I think we all came together and voted for the one portal period. And again, like, as coaches, I think sometimes there's like a misnomer, like, oh, the coaches don't want the portal or something. Like, hey, man, look, like, the portal's created, like, a guy's not getting an opportunity to play or something like that, man. Hey, go find a way to play. Like I said, I transferred to go play, right? It's like, I'm good with that, but, like, we're the only sport that had two windows. And I just want to know that, like, when we go through spring ball, like, that's my team. You know what I mean? Like, I think as coaches, we just want that level. That helps consistency. And I think that's going to help consistency. So we want these kids to have an opportunity to explore their options if they choose to do that. But 2 windows is just like, man, like, you look at guys that you bring in December or January, and then they turn right around and have the opportunity to leave in May, or in April. It's hard to develop continuity that way. So I think, I know when we were in those meetings back in January and everything, the synopsis was we want 1 window, and we want to get it to 1 window. And honestly, it got to a point where, like, we really don't care when. Just put it wherever. Let's do 1 window. Let's give these kids this opportunity. And hey, let's make decisions. Let's negotiate, renegotiate with our players. The only thing, my only thing would be, and again, we've explored, I've heard every option laid out. There is no perfect time to do that 1 window. You're going to make somebody mad no matter what time you put it. The only thing at least the dates that I've seen proposed, that it's like I don't like the ability not to be face-to-face negotiating or renegotiating with our players. If they're at home for Christmas break, with the dates I've seen, I want to be in front of them and have the ability to meet with them about some stuff. And so I think that provides a unique challenge. But heck, we got technology, we got FaceTime, we got Zoom and all the things. So we'll do that. We'll do whatever. But I'm all for 1 window. I don't know if that's I haven't seen if that's like down pat or when they're doing it. But if it's 1 window, that'd be great.
You're nation leader in tackles for loss, I think 2nd in sacks. What's been the key to being so disruptive on defense?
Man, I'm telling you, those guys, that front 7 is playing hard. Micah Davey, Josh Rudolph, Ashad Hall, KD Johnson. I probably haven't talked about him enough. KD has played extremely physical and extremely hard, and I think they have we got really good depth at our front 7, as we've talked about. But man, those kids play hard. They play physical, and they believe in what we're doing. And I just think that the thing I'm probably the most proud of through 2 games, and I'm knock on wood, is our ability to tackle. I mean, we have made some really impressive open field tackles. We've made some really good tackles for a loss. I think that we've done a great job coaching that on the defensive side. Coach Daly and our defensive staff have done a great job with that, and I think our guys are playing extremely hard. And as we talked about week 1, I mean, when you play really hard, good things happen, and that's what's happening with our front 7 right now.
What's been the key to stopping teams on 3rd down? You guys have had success defensively, stopping people 3rd down.
Yeah, schematically we got a really good plan, but also too, if there's one area from spring ball to fall camp that we probably did more than most teams that we want to improve upon from last year, is we did a lot of short yardage period work, and if we did good on good, and we did it. And I always view short yardage, when you do it against each other, you got to go live, because people get hurt, I think, when you try to hold people up around piles. And so I think we had more reps than probably I've ever done as a head coach of live short yardage period from spring to fall camp. And I think that's given our guys confidence. And one thing, as I reflect back on those periods, there would be a day where the offense would dominate, and the next day the defense would dominate, and it was really good back and forth. And you look at us right now in short yardage, we're playing really, really good football in short yardage on both sides of the ball. And I think that gave both sides confidence. And as you know, football's a game of momentum. And once you get one stop, once you get one conversion, it leads to that confidence. And when you have a game like we had last Saturday, it's been cool to walk around the building and see the confidence that it's given our kids. And now they're playing freer. They're playing just with more confidence in general, not just short yardage. And so it's been really cool to see.
Anything, Coach?
Awesome, guys. Picks up. Appreciate y'all.